In this video, we're going to be talking about lip lines. And hi, y'all, Christine Byer here. I'm in Vegas in this hotel room, and I took a great class this weekend, and I learned a new move that I've done before, but I didn't do it with this intention. And I want you to experience it for yourself. So stay tuned. That's coming up next. So welcome back. Sorry about the lighting here. I didn't bring my tripod or any of my filming stuff with me. So here we are. I wanted to talk about the mouth area and what happens here as we get these lines. There is a depletion of collagen. Well, we know this, and we can actually get the degradation of the teeth and the jaw and the structure, the whole teeth structure. If you have teeth taken out, that's and start to affect this whole area. But if you're just working on lip lines, I find you need to do two things. You need to release the lines, and you need to provide some sort of filling in, some sort of pressure on the back of the lips. And I'm going to talk about that. That's an easy fix. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But when you're releasing lip lines, and fascia's having a moment. Fascia is basically the glue that holds us together. It's these tendrils that weave in and out of the skin, and they hold all our bones and our organs and our endocrines and our tendons and everything together. That's fascia. And so we have superficial fascia and deep fascia in the face, and it's its own organ. I mean, it's a really sophisticated organ. And so it can get tangled up. And I likened it to a 3D spider web. And so when you try to untangle fascia, it can be restricted in many different ways. And so Jane, in this class was so amazing. If you're an esthetician, please take this class. It's called Finding Fascia, and it's by Jane Mann, and she has done the deep dive into facial fascia and how your bite and your posture affects the way your face looks. And she talks about an aging plan. She's a really amazing instructor. When I've worked on lips in the past, you can do moves on the inside and moves on the outside, and I'll link to those moves. I did a whole video that incorporated some pressure point release work to start, and then did all these different moves. But what they did to me, what I thought was so interesting, is they came up, and the gal was working on me. She was waiting for the next move, but she had her arms were upside down because she was behind me. But it was essentially like this, that she was holding me. And I didn't have any lipstick on because, it's mask up around here. So my lips were kind of dry, and I was feeling this pull. But it wasn't like she wasn't trying to stretch out my face, but she was doing a stretch. And it just so happened to stretch this. And she was waiting and waiting and waiting because Jane was explaining things. And so she held it for quite a long time. And I was like, that feels like it's releasing really superficial fascia, because these lines, the superficial fascia is going to hold the tippy top of that wrinkle in place. And she just kept holding it. And if you hold this and are still, and she was also talking about what did she call it? A super light touch. And I do energy work. I do body talk. I have since 2003. And I understand a light touch, right? Because energy workers understand that. But I think people go in too deep, too long. So she's talking about the unbelievable power of the superficial touch. So you think about the energy that's running from this hand to this hand. And so this gal held this for a long time. It didn't hurt. It just felt, my lips were kind of dry, so I was feeling the stretch. And so when she was done, I didn't notice at the time. It was the next morning, and I was like, I looked I was like, oh my God, I couldn't even believe. I mean, 53, my birthday, the class was on my birthday. And it just, yeah, I was just like, wow, that is really, it's so underrated. You just think that it's not, what is this light touch going to do? But it is working on that superficial fascia. And if that doesn't get loosened up, those wrinkles just sort of sit there and stay in place. They're always going to look like that. So she really released it. I was like, that looks amazing. So yeah, that's the, what is the, I can't think of the, I will put it here on the screen. But yeah, it was basically the unbelievable, or the sleeper effect. People just underestimate the power of a really light touch. I think so many people go in with like the Anma and they just tear into their skin, and it's, you know, that fascia is at every level. And so if you're diving right past that superficial fascia that holds that wrinkle in place, it's counterproductive. You know, you're never going to get the results you want because you're diving right past the zone you're really trying to work on. One of the zones. All right, so the second part of this video is talking about adding back, because we have the wrinkles and we have the volume loss and the collagen loss. And so we need something that will add back that volume. And I've told this story before, but I used to use a retainer to sleep in at night. And then one day my dentist said, let's change this up. And they fit me for a new one. And the new retainer just had a wire that went across. And the old retainer had a big, thick, it was almost like a basketball player retainer. If you've seen those big clunky things, it had a big, thick, just a pad right here, and it was rubber or whatever they make them out of. And it was right here. So it pushed my lip out while I slept. And I thought, okay, well, here's this new wire-based retainer to sleep in, because I grind. And I noticed over the next couple weeks that my lips just disappeared. I was like, what happened to my upper lip? It's gone. So I never really liked that retainer anyway. It was strange, and it made me kind of choke and stuff. So I just went to Walmart, and they have night guards that keep you from grinding. And you want to look for one with a thicker, you can also get them on Amazon. They're dirt cheap. But you want it with a thicker, like, front area, because you basically take these, you put them in the microwave for 30 seconds, you let them cool off a little bit, and then you mold them to your teeth. So when you mold them to your teeth, make sure that this part is sticking out a little bit, you know, like it's forward, because you're not going to use it to sleep in, you're just going to use it for this. And you put that on, and it's going to put that forward pressure on your lips. And what will they do? The muscle will sense that and try to counteract it, like push against it. And so it's going to grow, and it's going to start to fill this back in. It is a magical process. I love it. It's so simple. It's the same concept as the angel lift. And if you want something more professional, there is the angel lift. I think it's like $89 for a set of 2 little silicone strips that you put here. But what I've seen with that is that sometimes inadvertently builds up our sneer muscles, and people look very strange with that. But just with these night mouth guards, you can get that forward pressure. Now, if you can sleep in it, that's great. That's a really good idea. But if you can't sleep in it, try to wear it an hour a day, couple hours a day, just to get that forward pressure and to kick in the skin sort of, it's not really a wound healing response, but it does activate the muscles, and it brings blood to the area that wouldn't normally be there, because they're like, oh, this is a new configuration. Let's rush some blood and nutrients to this area to sort of fix it or see what's up. I think we need to reinforce this area. So that's in a nutshell what happens. So you'll notice this will get a little thicker, and it will be pushed out more. You'll have a little more volume there, but you have to keep using it. But if you want to do a deeper dive into the concept behind this, just look up Angel Lift. That's they were on Shark Tank and everything. But yeah, it's the same concept of that forward pressure, triggering muscle growth, and therefore refining our lip lines. Anyway, I hope that you learned something in this video. We always have to do release work. You can do exfoliation, you can do microneedling, but you need that forward pressure to give us back some volume. And filler, you can do filler, of course, but that's really sort of masking the problem. We need to do the release work so that we get the microcirculation, that we get the circulation going, and you need to apply forward pressure so that this area will thicken back up again. Okay, I hope that helped. Thanks for watching. Bye now.